That is a 8-9 Bonsai bucktail from Big O's from Owen Seman of the Muskie Hunks. And Owen and the guys come onto my radar a few years ago. I listened to one of their podcasts. The very first one was with Jeff Contreras, and absolutely love what the guys do at the Muskie Hunks. And I'll drop a link down below if you guys want to check out that. I've been on there twice already. Just a great group of guys. And Owen builds bucktails, and they're very unique. There's a couple cool things about them. So I reached out to him through this off season, and my buddy Adam from Top Line Baits went down to the New York show, and I asked Adam if he would pick one up, or I actually asked Owen if he would get one to Adam. So Owen gave him this one, and we're going to talk to Owen here in a second, and he's going to tell us what's unique about this bendable wire bucktail. Now, I first seen flexible wire on, I believe they're called Muskie Metal. My wife had them at the shop a few years ago, and we tried them out. They're okay. They weren't earth-shattering, and they honestly didn't sell all that well in my wife's shop, so she didn't bring any more in, and that was kind of the last I heard about flexible wire bucktails. And then I wasn't even sure that that's what Owen had on these. And talking with Kyle Free just over the winter, he said, yeah, they're flexible wire, which they are, completely flexible. It's not like a titanium wire like Pandemonium uses. It's actually a cable. And this one's a stagger, and he uses a dangle blade, so it's very similar to Dadson blade with no name, or how I attach the dangle blade. But this is a very unique dangle blade. I don't know if he puts that little flare on the bend of it on the bottom edge, but it's got a really distinct cup. It looks really good in the water. Let's go talk to Owen, see what he has to say about the Big O's bucktails, and we'll go have a look in the water, and you guys can have a look at this, and we'll come right back.
Hey, what's up, Glenn? Thanks for asking me to do this little video here. Hello, everyone out there, 54 bust land. We appreciate everything that Glenn does. We love the videos. So, I'm Owen from Big O's Bucktails and also from the Muskie Hunks podcast. So, if you've never listened, give us a listen. We've had Glenn on a couple of times. We always appreciate what he does for us and plugging us when he does. So. And I appreciate everything that Glenn does for the industry, just in getting all of this multi-product information out to people. And I mean unbiased, talk about different products, how they operate underwater, how they work. I greatly appreciate it. It has helped me as an angler in choosing what baits I want to fish, just watching Glenn's video. So to kind of catch up on my stuff, I make bucktails and spinner baits. Particularly what Glenn has taken a look at is a flexible bucktail of mine. It's a 9/8 stagger. I make all of my bucktails on flexible wire now, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, back in 2018 or 2019, when I first started making bucktails, I built myself a specific bucktail for my trip to Lake Nipissing. And sure enough, on the second day, that thing got mauled and it was just bent beyond recognition. And there I was making my own bucktails, but I couldn't get that thing to run at all, ever again. So, again, I'm not the first one to make a flexible bucktail. I know a couple other companies have offered it or maybe even do offer it now. Mine is on an aircraft grade cable. If you can get a good look at that, you can see it's like a braided wire cable. And so one of what I believe the benefits of this is that there is some friction that is imparted by your clevises rubbing up against the cable. And so while it may not be a ton, I think there have been other examples in the musky world where a little bit of friction or a little bit of change can make a difference. Uh, as I've told Glenn in the past, personally, I don't ever think that I'm reinventing the wheel with these bucktails. Literally anyone can order the parts to go make this exact bucktail online. You just have to figure it out. just learn how to do it. So I don't try to hold myself out as some master craftsman that is creating something that is, just gonna set the world on fire. I try to make bucktails that I think work and that will appeal to the everyday musky fisherman. Um, so with that said, I kind of try to adopt and adapt what other what is working in the muskie industry. And Glenn's success with the blade with no name from Johnny Dadson got me to, say, okay, I'm gonna throw a small. This is much smaller than Johnny does. I basically put a number 5 Colorado blade as a trailer, and I really, really like it. That combination, it's just enough of a flicker to really catch the fish's attention. And also, what I've found another benefit to the flexible wire is that with that trailer blade in the figure eight, it actually creates a little enough tension and a little bit of friction back here, or drag, I should say, that it actually flexes in the figure eight. So you can actually, the bait will actually give a curve in the figure eight as opposed to just staying straight like your typical bucktail. Again, is that the magic ticket? I don't think so, but if I'm a big believer in you're going to fish the baits that you have confidence in. And if I make something that you like to look at and you like to throw, then that's going to put fish in the boat because you're throwing it. So hopefully with the flexible wire, that will allow you to throw it more, catch more fish on one bait and not have to reconfigure it yourself or try to have it rebuilt or send it back and or anything like that. So those are just a couple of the benefits that I see in the flexible wire baits. Obviously, I will still make regular baits. Sorry, just checking my notes here to see. Also, another big benefit is I believe that this significantly increases your hooking percentage. Not hook up percentage, but just the percentage of baits that will stay in the muskie's mouth. Because a simple law of physics is that what's a way to get something out of a jam? You got to pry it out. You have to apply pressure in some way. And with the flexible wire, it is damn near impossible to apply much pressure to get a barb out. If you think about a straight bucktail, you're always going to have that straight wire to kind of pop. Whereas with this flexible wire, I have yet to see a fish throw one of these. They just, it's like they're glued in there. Like they can't shake it. So again, that's anecdotal evidence. I don't have any scientific evidence to prove that claim, but hey, if it's worth 30, 35 bucks to give something a shot, then you can do some testing here. But so I'm not trying to say that these things are going to set the world on fire, but I do believe in them. I catch fish on them. A lot of my buddies catch fish on them. They've caught some really, really, really big fish. In fact, a 50 pounder was caught, and I know that sounds silly, but it was legit a big fish. So, anyways, thank you again, Glenn, for taking the time. Oh, you also asked me to talk about rod. With any bucktail, I recommend the longest rod you can have. They make 10 and a half footers now. Get the longest that you can have and work with your boat. Um, Secondly, I use a lower gear ratio reel. I feel like it's just a little bit too hard to crank the bucktails as fast as you want to with the higher gear ratio, but that's just me. I know other guys kind of have it the other way, but it's just a personal thing of mine. Lastly, I prefer a 9-inch leader, preferably full fluoro, like 130, 140 pound fluorocarbon leader, which also adds to that flex. So you really got flex all the way through the bait from the leader all the way down to your treble back here. The only thing that is not flexible is the actual trailer hook. And I have made it on flexible, and it tends to just get wrapped up in itself. And so the straight wire back there works best. So anyways, again, Glenn, thanks again for always putting out good content throughout the year, for being an ambassador for the muskie industry, especially all the way out there in Sunset Country in Northwest Ontario. So hopefully someday we'll get to fish together. Hopefully someday we'll get to share a boat. But until then, I'll keep watching you on YouTube, and hopefully we will get together sometime. Take care, guys.
Okay, so this is from Big O's Bucktails, and this is a 9/8 combo with a little dangle. I didn't take the back hook guards off there, and I don't have the top hook on, but we want to get it in the water for you guys. We'll check with Owen and see what he has to say about this. What's really cool about this is it's built out of wire, so it's very flexible. And I remember using something very similar years ago, but let's get this one in the water. And this is pretty standard bucktail setup. This is a 9'6" shock and awe, 471 Okuma, so a 7.1 to 1, 90-pound barbarian braid, and 49 strand leader with snap on it. And because we got shallow water depth here, I'll do a slightly above medium retrieve. Just keep it just under the water. And like we do with all our bucktails, you want to have your rod pointed right at the bucktail, maybe slightly to one side so you got strong hook set power. That's Big O's Bucktails. Well, I want to thank Owen for that, and just you guys had a look at this in the water. It looks amazing in our clear water. This green color with the gold and that little chartreuse dangle, and then just classic black skirt. It just looks really good in the water. Unfortunately, because of the shallow water and I'm standing on shore, I can't do any figure 8 stuff on video with this. But when we do get another shot at doing some videos, we'll run this through the figure 8, and I want to compare this to a standard wire. This is the blade with no name that I had all the success with last year, and I want to see if they do something different in the figure 8, or if this tracks true in the figure 8, or if it does actually have a bend. I think that might be interesting to just compare, and that's not to take anything away from Owen. I'm not trying to show a Dadson to compare it, but it's a good comparison because they're kind of built the same. I'm just really curious if it actually does something different in the figure 8. I know if you, in my experience using them in the past with the flexible wire, in the figure 8, if you really stalled it in the turns, it felt like the bucktail wanted to collapse on itself because of that bend. Now, I haven't heard anything like that happening to these, so we'll see. So obviously I only have one of these to try out this year, and I do want to thank Owen for setting us up with one, letting us try one, get it in the water, get some cool footage. And it's one that we're actually going to throw. I think it looks really good in the water, and I'm curious to get a feel for, does it grind different on cable? Does it feel different? So we'll definitely try this one out a little bit as we get into our season here. And if you guys have experience with Big O's Bucktails, put a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And we're going to circle back around to this because I think, like I say, I want to compare it to a conventional wire. And if it's something that I think I like, I'll probably reach out to Owen and see if I can't buy a couple more for comparison's sake and just some different blade sizes. I'm really curious to, get a better feel for the vibration and the grind that it gives and the feedback that you get through the rod with that style of bucktail. To the best of my knowledge, he's the only one doing that with wire other than that Muskie Metal company, and I don't have any of those to compare. So I just think it's a cool idea. It's unique. It definitely sets Owen and Big O's apart from everybody else in the industry. So again, guys, I just want to thank Owen. And for another video where we talk about the blade with no name, check out the video right here. And for us, that's the bucktail that all bucktails are judged against. And again, not to take anything away from Big O's, but go check that one out if you're looking for something kind of based on a bucktail. And for now, 54 Bust is out of here. We'll catch you guys out on the water later.